All right, let's talk about budgeting here. Section 2-2 in Alex. So in this section, we'll talk about budgeting in general. We will look at some cash flow problems and talk about expenses and things like that. So let's jump down to controlling your finances right here. By the way, you can find this in the weekly agenda. A blank copy of this if you want to print it out or work on it digitally. So, controlling your finances. It's important to know your bank balance and to avoid bouncing a check or having your debit card declined. You want to know what you spend. In particular, keep track of your debit and credit card spending. I would also point out we want to keep track of our recurring fees. For example, I had my Amazon Prime membership renew, and it was set to yearly instead of monthly. So that's like $100 and something fee that was totally unexpected. So try to do a better job than I do of keeping track of your recurring fees. You don't want to buy on impulse. Think first. Buy only if you are sure that the purchase makes sense for you. And you want to make a budget and don't overspend it. Sorry. So, moving down to example 1. You'll see some problems like this in Alex, where it's kind of calculating or figuring out how quickly these daily expenditures pile up. So, this says Calvin isn't rich, but he gets by and loves sitting down for a latte at the local coffee shop. With tax and tip, he usually spends $5 on his large latte. He gets at least one a day on average during the week, Monday through Friday. So not every day, but Monday through Friday. He figures it's not such a big indulgence, but is it? How much does Calvin spend in a week and in a year? So, what does it cost him per week? Well, it's only Monday through Friday, so 5 days a week times $5 per day means he is spending $25 per week. Instead of use 365 days for a year, why don't we do 52 weeks in a year? Because it says that he doesn't buy coffee on the weekends. So, how much will it cost Calvin here per year? If we take $25, which is what he spends per week, and we multiply that by the number of weeks in a year, 52, we get $1,300. So these daily purchases can add up quickly. So again, and Alex, just look at the question and see what it's asking for. It will often be a two-part question where it's like, how much is it per week? How much is it per year? It might ask per month. So just look at the question. Example 2. Cassidy has recently begun keeping her spending under better control, but she still can't fully pay off her credit card. She maintains an average monthly balance of about $1,100, and her card charges a 24% annual interest rate, which bills at a rate of 2% per month. How much is she spending on credit card interest? So here, excuse me, here it doesn't really specify per month or per year. So let's answer both, because that's usually how the questions work in ALEKS. So she has an $1,100 monthly balance, which sounds like she's only paying the minimum. So it's going to stay at about $1,100 because of the interest. We know that she is charged 2% interest, I'll abbreviate, per month. So first, we need to convert 2%. And of course, we do that by, any whole number, the decimal is implied that it's right there at the end. Think dollars. 2 is really 2.00. So there is a decimal there. To go from percent to decimal, we move the decimal to the left twice. So to convert 2%, we get 0.02. So to figure out how much interest she is paying per month, part A we'll call it, we take how much money she owes on the credit card, $1,100, and multiply that to 0.02. You can put that in the calculator and get 22. So that's $22 per month. And then to figure out how much per year, well, if she is charged $22 a month and there are 12 months in a year, then we just multiply 22 times 12 to get $264 per year. So again, if you're working a problem like a word problem, you don't use the percent form usually. You convert it to the decimal. Let's talk about a 4-step budget. Step 1, we list our monthly income. Step 2, we list our monthly expenses. Step 3, we subtract the expenses from the income. And sometimes there's some confusion here. Subtract from means we don't go like what we see from left to right. That means it's going to be income minus expenses. That's what to subtract expenses from income looks like. It's income minus expenses. Sometimes students will go the other way, and that's incorrect. So make sure you get that down. And then you can adjust your budget if needed. And here we would adjust if we have what we call a negative cash flow. If your expenses are greater than your income, then you have a negative cash flow, meaning you are in debt, and you should adjust your budget as you can. Let's look at example 3. College expenses. This is a pro-rate problem in which it says, in addition to your monthly expenses, you have the following college expenses that you pay twice a year. $2,500 for tuition each semester, $250 in student fees each semester, and $400 for textbooks each semester. How much are you spending per month on these expenses? So it's not just adding these numbers up, because these are for the semester. We need to figure out how much she is spending per month. So some things we need to think about here. There are 2 semesters in a year, 12 months in a year. Of course, we know that. So let's talk about the expenses. Per semester, there's $2,500 for the tuition. There's $250 for the fees. And $400 for books. Put that in the calculator, and we get $3,150 per semester. But of course, 2 semesters in a year. Should have written it over here. So that's taking $3,150 and multiplying that by 2. And that comes out to $6,300 per year. So let's take a second, talk about that. Again, so it lists your fees. We add them up, and we see that it's $3,150 per semester, but 2 semesters in a year. So we multiply it by 2 to get $6,300. But it asks how much we are spending per month. So this is why this is a pro-rate question. The way these usually work in ALEKS is that you divide the yearly expenses by 12 if it's asking for it per month. I guess you could see it for per week or even per day, but I think in ALEKS it's usually per month. So these are her yearly expenses for college. or your yearly expenses. So we take this number and divide by 12. And it's $525 per month. So again, it's important to figure out what they are asking for. It's easy to do this work and maybe think it's asking for the yearly, but read the question carefully. Let's turn the page. So prorate the following expenses and find the corresponding monthly expense. So again, prorate means find out what we spend per year and then divide by 12. One thing to talk about here is this word semi-annual. Semi-annual means twice a year or once every 6 months. You've probably heard about semi-annual sales. So however you want to think about it, either twice a year or once every 6 months. So Katie pays $500 per month in rent, a semi-annual car insurance premium of $800, and an annual fee for health insurance of $900. So, in a prorate question, we want to think about the yearly expense and then divide that by 12. So she pays $500 per month. There are 12 months in a year, so we will do 500 times 12. She pays semi-annual car insurance of $800. Semi-annual means twice a year, so we take 800 and multiply by 2. And then an annual fee, and of course annual means once a year, so 900 times 1. So in the calculator, 500 times 12 plus 800 times 2 plus 900 gives us 8,500. If you got something else, you might need some calculator help, and please reach out to either of us. I'd be happy to look at that with you. So that is the yearly expense, but we want to prorate this into a monthly expense. And so we take 8,500 and we divide by 12. And we get about $700 or $708.33. So let's look at this one. This is kind of a long one. Zoom out. Here we go. Zoom in a bit more. All right. Brianna is creating a budget. The expenses she pays monthly are, so these are the monthly expenses, $700 for rent, $120 for gas, $140 for health insurance, $75 for auto insurance, $25 for renter's insurance, $110 for her cell phone, $100 for utilities, $300 for groceries. This was written pre-egg price. And about $250 for entertainment. In addition, okay, so again, in green, those were all monthly expenses. In addition, over the entire year, she spends $12,000 for college expenses. So these are now yearly. Sometimes you'll see the word annual, but here it just says over the entire year. That means annually. So $12,000 for college, $1,000 on gifts, $1,500 for vacations, $800 for clothes, $600 in charity. Her income consists of, so now we're looking at income, a monthly after-tax paycheck of $1,600. So that's monthly and $1,600. And a $3,000 scholarship that she received at the beginning of the year. So we have two sources of income: a yearly one-time payment of $3,000 and 12 monthly checks of $1,600. So let's look at that right now while we're talking about it. For the income, we have a monthly check of $1,600 and a yearly scholarship of $3,000. So again, the complicated part probably is that we're talking about find her monthly cash flow. So we have two sources of income. We have a monthly source, $1,600, and then this yearly source. So again, we kind of need to prorate what is her monthly income with this $3,000 check accounted for. Because we're finding out her average monthly cash flow. So it's not like January you get $4,600 and then every month is just $1,600. We need to take this $3,000 and divide by 12. And that gives us $250. So cash flow is about budgeting. What are your monthly expenses and monthly sources of income going to look like? So for each month, we have $1,600 plus $250, which means that we have a prorated monthly income of, add these together to get $1,850. So again, cash flow is income minus expense. If we take all of the sources of income and all of the expenses and figure out what they cost per month, so we just subtract. So we're going to do $1,850 minus her expenses. So what are the expenses? Well, first we have our monthly expenses, the ones in green, which are $700 plus $120 plus $140 plus $75 plus $25 plus $110 plus $100 plus $300 plus $250. All of the monthly fees in green. Add those up to a total of $1,820. Again, those were the monthly expenses. What about her yearly expenses? The ones in orange. We have 12,000, 1,000, 1,500, 800, and 600. We add those up, use the calculator, and we get 15,900. Those are her yearly expenses, but we need to figure out if we're going to have enough money month to month. And so we take 15,900 and divide by 12. And you're going to keep doing that if it's asking for a monthly cash flow. We need to think about our expenses and income in terms of months. So 15,900 divided by 12 is 1,325. So the total monthly expense is this number plus this number. 1,820, $1,820, the monthly expenses. We don't need to adjust that number because it's already a monthly total. And then our yearly total divided by 12 is 1,325. Add those up to get 3,145. So income minus expense. Our total monthly income minus our total monthly expense. And you can probably see that this number will not come out well. So everything accounted for, scholarship plus monthly income, we're looking at about $1,850 a month. All of her expenses, whether they are monthly or yearly, have a monthly impact of $3,145, which means we have a negative cash flow. So put that in the calculator, and we have a negative cash flow of $1,295 per month. And so if that is the case, you would want to rethink. Think about what you could take out of your budget here. What expenses could you eliminate? Probably things like vacation, maybe gifts, maybe spend less on clothes. So there you have it. And the last thing we'll look at is another cash flow problem. And there's a bit to talk about here. Find this person's net monthly cash flow. It may be negative or positive. Assume that the amounts shown for salaries and wages are after taxes, and that 1 month equals 4 weeks. So again, it's asking for the monthly cash flow. We have the income per month of $2,300. There's nothing else to add to this income. There's no scholarship that we divide by 12. It's just giving us the monthly income. But the expenses, we need to think about the expenses per month. So if we see something that is, let's go down the list. Let's look at the expenses. Rent is $800 per month. That is per month. We don't need to adjust the number 800. That is a monthly expense. Utilities is a monthly expense. Miscellaneous is a monthly expense. Those are all monthlies. Let's think about per week. Again, it tells us that 1 month is 4 weeks. So if we spend $90 a week on groceries, how much do we spend in a month? 4 weeks in a month. So 90 times 4 gives us 360. I'm not sure if this is showing up well. So 360 there. 90 times 4. We have another weekly down here. $25 a week on gasoline. So take the $25 we spend per week, 4 weeks in a year. 25 times 4 is 100. Oh, I forgot phone. That is per month as well. So put our 85. If you were in my face-to-face class this morning, there was some confusion here about health insurance and car insurance. Well, not the fact that they're insurance, but the fact that they occur twice a year. Again, twice a year means semi-annually. I said earlier in the video that we can think about twice a year as being the same as once every 6 months. So if this fee is occurring twice a year, if you see it twice a year, just divide by 6. So again, if it says it's happening twice a year, you can just divide by 6 to find out what is the monthly expense here. So for health insurance, I'll do it over here. We take 360 and divide by 12. 360 divided by 12 is $60. For the car insurance, that's $400 twice a year, meaning $400 every 6 months. So to find out how that would impact us monthly, what kind of money would we have to put aside per month to face this $400 bill that happens twice a year? We divide by 6. Oh boy. So look what I did there. 400 divided by 6 is about 67. So I'm sorry, that was probably confusing. It's not divide by 12, it's divide by 6. Twice a year means every 6 months. So it's $360 divided by 6 to get 60. A $400 car insurance bill twice a year will occur once every 6 months. So to find the monthly impact, take $400 and divide by 6. And I think that actually comes out to a decimal, 66 point something, but nothing else was in the cents, so we're just going to round that up. Alex will usually be more specific about something like that. So now everything is per month, and we can just add this together to get 1997. So the cash flow is 2,300 minus 1997, which is a positive 303. So that is a positive cash flow. So this person has budgeted correctly. So that'll wrap it up. Hope that helps. If you have any questions, reach out anytime.